Hi, this is today's live on Aircraft Television International. We're so glad that you could join us on today's edition of the program. Yeah, last week Thursday we started a conversation on unveiling the manipulators. Manipulators in our world, manipulators in our life, manipulators all over. And we look at who a manipulator is. A manipulator is somebody that influences other people's behavior or try to exact control for his own advantage or for her own advantage at the detriment of other people. And they do that by lying, by deceiving people, by playing on your emotional and even psychological senses. But again, it is very important that you learn to decode who a manipulator is, because if you are able to decode who a manipulator is, it's going to save you a lot of stress and a lot of psychological trauma. You recall that we talk about the places or the forms that manipulators can appear. You find them in relationships, be it romantic or personal relationship, casual. You also find them at workplaces. You also find manipulators in social interaction. And we talk about manipulators being highly smart, because a foolish person cannot be a manipulator. Of course, you have to be very smart. And so you see them, you find them very charming. They are likable at first glance, but if you look deeper, beneath it is deception. And so we talk about how important it is. But beyond relationship, we saw that the need to actually look at workplace and also social interaction, how that you can find manipulators. My name is Joyce Jakada. I have engineer Tony Jane Akali, Prudence, and Sambo Solomon.
It's a pleasure. The show is taking a new dimension today. Breakfast is on while the show is on.
Amazing. But I don't understand why it has to be one-sided.
To your tent, O ye Israel.
Okay, wow. On Christ the solid rock I stand. Always, on every other ground. Sinking sand. So let's talk about manipulation.
Solo was not here. Let him start.
He was not here during the debate.
He was being manipulated.
We're talking about manipulators. Last week we unveiled who they are, and today we are concluding manipulators.
We did not agree who they are. We fought on the set. Be proud of what you did, Joyce. Joyce fought on this set solo. She fought. It was just blows that she did not exchange. I don't agree. Manipulate. He said manipulators are. Yesterday there was something she said on the show.
Today you did a part 2 of it.
So you say manipulators are smart, but I said manipulators are.
Joyce, you said manipulators are smart. Look at you. Are you smart? Yeah, I'm a manipulator.
I didn't generalize that everybody that is smart is a manipulator. I said the person that is into manipulation is smart because he uses psychological tactics. So he's not a foolish person, cannot employ that. It has to be somebody that is smart. So all smart people are not manipulators, but manipulators are smart
people.
Yes.
She felt like she made a point. Go ahead, Solo.
I refuse to be manipulated on this set.
Just I agree with you. Smart people can manipulate, but you see the beauty of it. They think they are smart, but one thing the Bible says, he used the wise. He used the foolish things to shame, to confirm the wise. So if you are a manipulator, you're out there and you are thinking, yeah, I'm smart. You're like, I'm the
getting
smart
them.
one. Just be rest assured that sooner or later, your real person will be revealed. Because one thing that I love with my Bible, he says, the act of manipulation is witchcraft. So if you are a manipulator and you are thinking because you are smart, that's why you are a manipulator, or you manipulate. You are what the Bible say. You know what you are practicing.
Okay, but let me ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Do you see this act as being good in any form?
Good in any form.
Just because he was not here last time does
You-
not mean
Is the
you should
question?
ask questions that will favor
You-
the erroneous points that you made last
from
week.
where I'm coming, Joyce, from where I'm coming, I can't say manipulation based on what the Bible says is wrong. So I can't sugarcoat what the Bible says.
So you don't think there's any good aspect or
The Bible would have said it.
okay? So
Yes,
in
because
its
that's our
entirety,
standard. Yes, because that's our
it
standard.
is bad.
It's bad.
Okay,
It's
so
bad.
let's talk about manipulation at workplace.
Do you have any idea what Joyce just did?
He doesn't know. He
I
just answered what is not there. You signed the check. You didn't see the
Let's
but it's fine.
talk about
Thank
Don't worry.
God,
Don't worry,
thank God it's just 10 minutes into the show.
let's talk about. Thank you for
Like,
that
not the
response.
tax, don't worry.
Thank you for the response. Let's talk about manipulation at work. Do we have people that manipulate at work? Oh, of course, the answer is yes. Employees manipulating their employers manipulating their employees. Like earlier before the show, we were talking about how that people will show up for interviews and they will be asked, they will say, I'm ready, I'm willing to do everything. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month into the work, they will be like, this one is not part of my job discretion, no. But before, even the one that is not your discretion, you want to join and do because you want to prove a point. Maybe you are waiting for confirmation or you are waiting for letter. You understand? You know, there's always those season of probation, and then after you got all of that, you are saying this one is not part of my work. So do you know who I am before I came to this place? I'm just doing this thing because of God or something like that. So it means that at the point of interview, you manipulated your employers to get you employed. Or we find situations where employers will say, take this job. I mean, I feel so attacked, but it's fine.
Nobody's talking to you.
No,
Have we lost the right to laugh as well?
well, what is funny? I mean, what?
You know when you
I
say
didn't hear anybody say anything.
These two of you that are on the show today now, you are the one they are asking questions.
So
I just find it really funny.
What's
because
happening here, please?
I think because you missed
signed
last
the
week's
check.
episode, you
When
don't
see
have
the debit,
any idea
when you
what's
see the debit,
happening.
you know what you have signed. When the debit alert comes, you know what you have signed.
so where?
God help me.
I mean, it was just a question I asked. Nobody imposed anything on you. You even quote Bible this side, so you did well. So situations where employers will say, okay, this is the work condition, these are the policies, and then sooner or later you see them working against the policy, maybe in terms of benefits that is for the workers or the employees, or maybe you sign that okay, the employee is going to resume work at 8 and close by 4, and you see the employer extending the time to not just 10 p.m. but also to weekends, and there's nothing like in form of appreciation or allowances added to the person. But situations where you find employers making the employee feel that I just favored you, like it's just, you should see this as privilege and not as maybe a right or something. So if beyond employer-employee, you also find colleagues also manipulating themselves. Okay, please, can I need to attend one burial, can you just cover up for me? And probably it's a lie and all of that. So it just shows itself, manipulation in forms of deception, lying and all of that. So let's speak to manipulation at workplace. Dear boss,
Joyce, in your whole life, have you ever manipulated?
Yes.
Why?
I think for me, at the point I did that was for my own benefit.
Can you give us an example of what you did?
Okay. So I think at one point in my life, I needed something, or it's not even at one point. Maybe if I need something from my dad, I'd be like, there are things I tell him, or at some point I was even singing for him. I was saying, babana, Mishari, how are you now? At some point, my dad, like he noticed that tactics, and he would tell me, don't waste your energy singing that song because I don't even have anything to give you, like that. But you see, because there's something I want, even before asking him, I start making him feel, see, in my life, there's nobody, your place, like this is your place. Nobody can take your place. This, and my dad would be like, don't worry, what do you want? This and that. Send me your account number, and you send him money. And even if I don't have a need, but I know that he has, Like I start singing all the praises for him and I get the alert. Even so I
always
think
happens.
that's
But last week you disagreed that is not manipulation.
I don't understand. I
Martha is
disagree.
laughing at you because she heard you last
That's
week. She was here.
manipulation.
But you disagreed that this is not
I
manipulation.
didn't say that this. I can't remember giving you this example.
No, I know.
Mm.
We're talking about the same scenario.
No.
You said that is not a
Which
manipulation.
scenario
A lot
exactly?
of them.
Because this particular one we didn't talk about it last week.
If you talk to your dad that way
Mm.
and he gives you what he wants, what you wanted, how is that bad?
It's bad
Why?
because it's possible that he has a need that is
It's
better
even
than what.
scriptural. People sashay God. I think it's a Hebrew word that you sashay God.
So for me,
We do that to God. When you worship him, you tell him nice things and he does something to you. Did you manipulate him? Gang gang.
that's manipulation.
Eh,
Like,
but okay,
No,
so
it-
worship is manipulation.
no, I'm not
no,
saying worship
see,
is manipulation. The
I
context,
just want,
this,
I
this
just want
context
us.
you're bringing
The
is different.
the problem
different.
that we had, or the challenge that we
No,
had
it's
last
different.
week in the show, you said there is no positive manipulation,
good
there is no
manipulation.
negative manipulation, there is no good manipulation, there is no bad manipulation. There is.
No,
It's a word, Joyce. Manipulation is a word. You manipulate a road. You manipulate through life. You saw danger here, you manipulated and walked your way home. How is that wrong?
I'm totally against the use of the word manipulation. You navigate your way through.
It's another word.
So no,
It's another
the
word.
manipulation that we are talking about in
You
its
are just
entirety is
both of us
deception.
are
Is
contextualizing it.
deception. Navigating is not deception, but manipulation is deception. So when you say you manipulated somebody, that means that you is a sin.
As a young
You
girl,
deceive the
as
person.
a young girl, you could not afford a pad, and you played with your dad like that, and he gave you the money. You manipulated him to give you money
No,
for
I
something
didn't.
you could not
That's
afford.
not. I didn't manipulate him to give me.
What
the
did you
money.
do?
It's a need.
But you
asked
said
for
that.
it.
How did you ask? You said you came, you did this, you did that, and he gave it
You
to
just
you.
mentioned a need.
And I asked you,
You
have you
mentioned
ever
a need.
manipulated? You said yes. Give us an example.
I'm coming,
you
let me-
did.
Let's
Okay, let me
let's
tell
not
you.
do
Let
what
me
we
tell
did
you
last
the
week.
instance where I call it manipulation is this. Like I said earlier on, I notice he has. I don't have a need for a pad. I already have a pad. So I just notice he has money and he has other needs. Maybe he has a building project, but I just feel I should just collect from him instead of him putting that money to the building project, or maybe another need that he has. I'm asking him to fulfill my wants, something that I don't need or something I have already. If it's a pad I don't have and I'm asking him for body to give me pad, I'm asking him. I'm not manipulating him to give.
Okay.
But if it becomes manipulation when I already have and I'm still asking, are you aware that there are some children that will collect school fees from their parent and still go and form one note and bring to their parent and say that we are asked to pay so amount, or they change the figure so that they can inflate the, that's manipulation. But if I ask you for something that is a need that needs to be met, it's not manipulation. I asked for it, I diplomatically talk about it, or I requested for it.
That's the
Diplomatically.
word. That's the word.
My point is that the choice, the use
Let
of
me
the
give
word
us the mic.
manipulation.
Asa wants to say something.
It's
Asa
wrong.
wants to say something.
But
We'll
like
just end the show if he has to say something.
I think I closed at the close of last week's episode. I was trying to say something, and I'm pretty sure I did not explain myself correctly or rightly. A lot of times the scenario we're talking about, we are using all the wrong words to describe certain circumstances. When we are talking about manipulation, the mindset behind it is selfish. You're thinking just about yourself.
That's it.
And it is at the not always so, but it is at the detriment of the other person. It's like, why would it be called witchcraft? It means that you know that what you are doing is wrong,
not right.
but you go ahead to do it. That's why the Bible went an extra mile to say it is witchcraft. Because you are aware that you are playing with the emotions of human beings. I said also last week that manipulation in itself is dehumanizing. It's like automatically saying the other person is not worthy of being human. You are the only person that is of
Of course,
importance.
he's not if he's not smart.
So when we're talking,
Anybody that has been manipulated is not smart. Going by this opening, prudence, going by the opening that smart people are manipulating people, you have to be smart to manipulate people. That means you have to be an idiot to be manipulated.
it does feel that way.
That's what it is.
I've been manipulated.
Can a smart,
I've
can
been
a smart,
manipulated, but I'm not an idiot.
can a smart man manipulate a smart person? Where was your smartness when you were being manipulated?
It's just really hard. So in that kind of scenario, craftiness will play.
I don't
Instead of-
accept that you're an
instead
idiot
of
when you're
smartness-
because I have been manipulated.
I'm trying to answer that, and I'm agreeing. I'm actually agreeing with you. So this person is actually smart, and the other person that you're trying to manipulate is smart as well. And for you to be able to do that, that's when craftiness begins to play. This person just goes all out to think of how is the best way possible to use this person's smartness against you. And that's what this person goes to do. Manipulators are calculative. You have the mindset of deceiving this person. So you go all out, you study the person, you find the person's weaknesses and capitalize on them. Sometimes it's even the person's strength that they use to
Of course.
capitalize on them.
Of course.
So manipulators are very. I'm trying to find the best word that will present what I'm trying to
Prudence,
say
don't
here.
go too far. Look at the
Very
story of
calculating.
Esther, Mordecai, and Haman. Look at it now. I'm not saying anything, but just look at it.
Now contest ASU and FG every day signing agreement and going back and
And
forth.
you don't even know what they are doing there. So it just goes to say that a lot of times, because the human mind is designed to want things to work your way, some people go an extra mile and do all the negative things to make sure that things work their way. And that is why manipulation in itself is called witchcraft. It's like, what do you do in witchcraft? You force things to work the way you want them to work. It's very simple.
I hope you do.
It's
You
just
talk like
very-
someone that has experience.
It's not like it's experience, but that's exactly what they do. And witchcraft
That's on the
makes
light
sure that for witchcraft, those that go on sorcery and all that is to make sure that things work the way exactly the way they want them to. That's what manipulators do. So there's no
I mean,
mistake.
prudence, simply put, we work in the same place and you have a lot of work on your tables to deal with. I also have, I have just one file to deal with while you have 10 files to deal with. And then I'm coming to you and say, Prudence, please, can you just help me just do this? Like, I need to go and meet up with this, or I'm not feeling
That's
so,
not true.
like, that's manipulation.
It
You
is-
find people doing that at the detriment of the other person. I don't want to believe that that's a good way of, like, there's
No,
nothing good.
no.
There's
No,
nothing
it is
good
not.
about that.
Whoever said there was something good about that?
About manipulation.
No, about the example that you just No, honestly, whoever said that?
That's just a practical example of workplace manipulation. You find others engage in divide and rule, where instead of you working as a team, this person, because of how tactical he is or she is, they want to divide the team. That way, the person can rule. Sambo Solomon, be mindful of Prudence. She's a terrible person. Prudence, be mindful of this person. And then, last week
You've bought loyalty.
last week I said something about them being charming and likable at first glance. So by that, you have divided the team. And by that, everybody is thinking, okay, I am the. So you are now subjected to whatever the person is saying or whatever. That's manipulation. Like when you have a team.
And
Like,
you have never done that.
you have a team.
But
I've
you
not.
see people doing
I've
that.
not.
Eh?
I've not.
You that wrote that you were sick. We saw you in Terminus buying earrings for sale.
That is not me. So, that is not me.
I'm
Cannot
surprised
be.
the people that are hating manipulation, they are talking.
They are
They are hating it on air, loving it off air.
example.
We saw you in Terminus buying this thing, but the report in the office said you were sick that day.
Me, Joyce
We saw you buying this thing, earrings and all that.
A quick money.
He said she has lookalikes in the market.
Thank you. That cannot be Misha. But then, I would like I would like us to talk about the impact. Engineer Tony, I would like you to speak to the impact of manipulation at work, because the sole aim of having a team is for, at the end of this, to for productivity, for you to achieve your mission or the goals of that organization. But in a situation where you have manipulation like taking place, like what's the impact to work?
For some people, it's natural. They are naturally manipulators. Some people, they feel everything they want to do, they can only achieve greatly by manipulating people to achieve what they want, whatever it is they want to achieve. But have you ever seen someone who goes to the hospital looking very sick? The first thing they do is to put a drip. That's not a treatment. It's just to get you stronger. It's not a treatment. Before they administer any treatment, they must run a test on you. Why is a test necessary? Root cause. What is this? Is this like they want to know if it's celebrity malaria?
This table now, wow.
So what's that malaria called? Cerebral
Cerebral malaria.
cerebral malaria. They want to know if it's cerebral malaria so that they can give you a nice haircut. Or they want to know if it's cancer. How is it? Has it gotten to the level of chemo? If it's the same, every sector you go to, we have that approach. You cannot just start dealing with Joyce Jakada because she's a manipulator. No, you have to find out the root cause. You have to find out the root cause. Do you know that just day before yesterday, someone told me, he said, I've been looking for you. I said, wow, but he said he's calling me, but he's sure I don't have his number. So I said, I'm sorry. Call again. And he called. I said, I have your number. Look at it. He said, you didn't pick. I said, I didn't see your missed call. He now said, okay. The most important thing is we have met. I want to talk to you about your staff. This person has been calling me, asking me for help, that you have not paid them for 6 months. Just day before yesterday. Wow. I said, who is the you that you're talking? He said, me. He said, 6 months? He said, yes. She's struggling. She needs this. She needs that. We send her to work. She does not do blah, 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 blah. I said, who? I said, show me the number. He said, I don't even have the person's number. I said, how are you communicating? He said, on Facebook. I said, let me see. I saw the person. And then I said, is the person aware you know me? He said, she's not. I said, tell her. Just write and say, I'm going to pick Tony up on this. Why would people work and Tony will not pay them? And see. Till this morning, we have not received a response. How much was the person asking for? I think it was this 70,000 or 40,000. I can't remember. Isn't that a terrible thing against my integrity, as against who I am? That they have not been paid for over 6 months. I don't know who is not paid in ECWA for over 6 months. I don't know the person. And then I had to tell him this person has stopped being my staff for a long time. For a long time. I think last year or so. He said no, that he has pictures, recent production. I said no. Pictures are different from what is. Just go to our platform and check if we have heard anything like that this year. Manipulation. So you see, you have to go and look at the root cause. If you are in love with beauty, with fashion, with things of this world, but you cannot afford them, you will definitely start manipulating people. Even if you become a sex worker, they will not pay you the amount that is commensurate to your taste when it comes to what you want to get. So you have to also manipulate on top of that sex work that you are doing. So you have to go back, Joyce, to to the root cause of people manipulating people. Some people are lazy, they don't want to come to work, they just write that they are sick. Or they carry a picture of a cannula in their hand, or the drip or whatever it is in their hand, and then they put it and then they send you the picture. And then they forget that you have seen that picture for the 16th time. That's when you are seeing it now. I am sick. Linda, every day I'm sick, I will not come to work. She will show me the same picture, She showed me one black, and I said, Linda, you are fair. What happened? She said, that's how the sickness turned. Yes.
Tables are shaking.
Yes.
HR is taking notes.
I am not sick. I'm sick. I cannot come to work today. Meanwhile, I will see you in terminus.
We're supposed to feature
Buying used clothes to go and sell. I've been catching my staff doing so many things. I know I encourage people to go and get money. I even reduce closing time. Go and make extra money.
Just it's too small.
Wherever you go to in this town, they will catch you.
We always say we're all related in this town because
So
everybody knows everybody.
honestly, I'm just well, Linda, if you can believe that, you can believe anything in your life. I'm just playing with you on air. But honestly, if you look at people, there's a root cause, and there's a reason why people want to manipulate.
Yeah.
I see lying as something smaller than manipulation. Because when you lie to somebody, the aim is that you are trying to gravitate to the level of manipulation so that he can believe that this is who you are, that you are really not.
Yes.
Basically, that
Yes.
is it.
True.
Yes.
So if I lie to you about having a 10th car coming, why? So you had 9, yeah. The 10th one is on his way from Abuja, and it's a 2024 vehicle, and you'll be like, wow. Then you start looking at me, and then you start rating me the way I am not, based on the information you have received. A lot of people are like that. You see people coming to work dressed very, very funny, but give them Friday when they are going out to get the groove on, they dress well, they look different. Give them a Sunday, they look different. Everybody wants to create an impression. That is manipulation as well. Excuse me. Because you are trying to get me to believe this is who you are, that you are really not. Joyce talked about interview earlier. Why are you well dressed just because you have an interview? Manipulation. You are just trying for me to create, even though it is an impression that is positive. I need to see you in that light. I need to know that this is, for me, interviewing you, I'll be happy that at least this clothes looks good on you, and if I pay you, keep dressing this way for me. If not for anything, it's an instruction. So at least you can come this way.
Yes.
So Joyce, to deal with that question that you asked that I cannot remember anymore, but then I've been answering it and I'm sure I'm doing justice to it. You have to go back.
Yes.
Did you say partly?
Absolutely. You have
Did you
been
say
doing
partly?
justice to it.
Did you say partly?
No.
Okay. See, I'm just speaking. If I start speaking English the way I speak English, you'll not know any word coming out of my mouth.
Wow.
So yeah. So if you want to deal with this issue of manipulation, a lot of people don't even know how they got to the level where they are at manipulating people. They just felt, if I did this once, twice, I got what I wanted, I'll go back to being that nice, great person I've always been. But if it works out twice, 3 times, see, you would create a career in manipulation.
It's true.
So the best way is not to have started in the first place. So look at people before you start dealing with the people who manipulate. What drove them into that? Are you incompetent at work that you need to manipulate to match up or to meet up? No, it's not. You just ask, be open. Prudence, how do you get to be clapped for every meeting? What do you do? Say, this time that we have at work is not enough. When you are home, you do more. When you come back, what you have done at home will show up at work. And then people will wonder. You know, when you use less time, to deal with issues that are official and other people are wasting 2-3 hours, you have a knowledge that the organization can rely on.
I just like the fact that you brought the issue of like people wanting to just meet up because they don't have the capacity, maybe as far as work is actually concerned.
Was it
And
you yesterday that said all fingers are not equal, but you don't have to be the short one?
yes, so you see some people at work, they feel they are okay, not they feel they are, one, it might be born out of laziness, and some they lack the capacity or the skill and to do the job. So because they want to meet up, they want to meet up with what is required. They want to manipulate their way through, either by manipulating their colleagues to get their job done, or by manipulating their superiors. Like we have instances where you see young ladies like give in their body just to get to the top, because they know as far as work is concerned, maybe they cannot give in or they cannot do it. But I would like you to just speak to the implication, not just to the person that is being manipulated.
Just before she does that, just yesterday, just last night on my way home, someone called me for a meeting, and we were discussing. When we were done, I was walking to my car, he was walking me to my car, and we saw not a young lady, a small girl. It was a spot where you could meet, talk, and we saw a small girl coming, and I was like, is this girl walking here? Why is she here? And he's like, this one is even old. He said yesterday he went to take his clothes from the laundry man somewhere very close around here, and he said a girl was waiting for him outside the laundry shop. When he got out, you just talked about using body to. When he got out, she followed him to his car. She tapped him and she said, fine looking man. Yes. And he said, what? She said, handsome looking man. You look very attractive to me. He said, he looked at her and he said, how old are you to know what attractive means? She said she's old enough. So the next thing she asked, where are you going to? He said, what? He was shocked that he didn't realize he was answering her. Suddenly something said, why are you answering this girl? So he banged the door and walked to the driver's side and entered. And the girl was talking from the passenger side. And she said, let me follow you now. Do you well. He turned off the engine of his car and he asked her, how old are you? She said she's 15. 15. He said she sounded very, very good at what that means. Maybe she started when she was even 11, 12. Even if it's a year, she has done this thing extensively. In Jos here, not in America or Lagos or Port Harcourt. No, in this our same Jos. I don't know if this our same Jos is correct English, but this same town where we all live in.
No, we can't.
So you see, when you are talking about that, in fact, somebody told me one time, he said he knows a girl that is a neighbor to them, that their mother will tell them, you people finish, you close from school, you came home and you just change your uniform. What are you doing at home? How will you pay your fees? These girls are all in secondary school. So they will go out, come back 11, 12. He said if you see their dressing, I think their father is not with them also, I don't know. They will come back, they will bring money. On their way back, they will buy bread, they will buy all these things, and then they eat. The next day they come back from school, and then they go back again. So stories have it that the mother sends them to go and get this thing while people come to the house to also see the mother.
Prudence. I mean, a lot of things
It is
are
sad.
happening.
We live in a world where
So I would just like you to speak to those people that manipulate their ways to the top at workplace, and then the implication, like young ladies, for example, you want to get into relationships with your superiors or give in your body just so that you can, or maybe situations where you have superiors to manipulate their maybe employees, yes, or their subordinate. You know, when you're in a relationship with me, nobody can do this to you, nobody, and you get to this position. So what do these things have impact?
Absolutely, their impact, because it just brings up mediocrity. Like the level of mediocrity just grows in the organization, and over time you think that. I did not say so.
So this our relationship is in the public now. Everybody is aware. It's well. Continue your point. We will change strategy and pattern. We will be meeting in Bukuru, please.
Hey, somebody will collect gas today.
Omaraba Jama.
Mrs. will wait for you.
I'm sorry.
Try
Continue
it.
with your point. You said they will be mediocres, not us. They go continue.
So as a lot of times when we go ahead and we're cutting corners, because manipulation comes along with cutting corners. You're cutting corners to get to a position. How long would you last in that position when you don't have what it takes to hold the position? You're not ready to put in the work, so there's no process, there's nothing that is brushing you and making you better, there's nothing that is pruning you and making you better. So when you get to that position, you are at loss of what to do. And at the end of the day, it's the organization that suffers it. You see that things are no longer working in the organization. Why? Because some mediocres are holding positions. We talk about this a lot of times, that one of the things that is affecting Nigeria as a country is that we have a lot of very well written plans that are implemented terribly, mostly because some people have manipulated others. If you put this person for me in this position, at the end of the day you get these results from me, and so you put in people that are not up to the task. So those best laid plans just die off because there's nobody to implement them correctly. That's exactly what happens in an organization. It becomes very detrimental to the organization, to the community by extension, to the society by extension. So at the end of the day, if 2 or 3 organizations are doing the same thing, you find a lot of manipulators in these organizations, then the community suffers it. The society ends up suffering it. So sometimes we manipulate and we're thinking that you're just doing it to one person or to 2 people, but in the long run you're really doing it to a whole community, to your whole society, and it is really detrimental. So just like Engineer Tony said, this is why you need to go back to look at the root cause and uproot some of them. Some of them, they just need panel beating, because sometimes it's just that they're not thinking right, and what they're thinking is that they are doing the right thing. And so when you go back to the roots and you're correcting it from the root, you're correcting it from the root cause, then you're able to build a better society.
That's perfectly said.
Manipulation, let me just add, manipulation is intertwined with corruption.
True.
Since we're talking about it at work, we need to let people know how wrong it is. You find out that the government of a state would want to do a project. So there are structures already standing or existing. You talk to the chiefs, village heads, hamlets, all of these people, youth leaders, and all of that. So you say, okay, a first class chief should have the empowerment of 100 people in his hands. The hamlet, the chief of the place should have 50. The youth leaders should have 10. The targeted people are aged men, aged women, 70 and above. Give 3 of them. Then you have 7 left. Give women that are 50 and above 2. You have 5 left. Then you give, but you find one person would go and give his girlfriend 3 for her and her friends that are not even from the same state.
True.
You find out that the government is awarding a contract of 50-kilometer road. But in real sense, that road is not up to 50 kilometer. It's maybe 35. But they manipulated it to be 50. And they will take 5 kilometers and go and do it somewhere else. Maybe because their girlfriend or their whoever lives there, but it's not apportioned for that street yet. People manipulate a lot.
True.
People steal projects of government from this location and take it to another location. Just because when they come back looking for something tomorrow, you remember what they have done, and then you can give. It's manipulation.
True.
Why wouldn't you just stand on the truth and say, this is what I want to do for you, and I want you to enjoy it for the fact that this is the only thing I can. But I truly brought something that is genuine for my community. So when we look at manipulation, we should not just look at manipulation and narrow it down to the desk where we work. Manipulation cuts across. If you go to the topmost level of government, you find manipulation. If you come to the barest minimum level of government, you still find manipulation. Little wonder we are where we still are as a nation. Look at how many countries. Look at Kenya. Did you see that woman that's going viral on their House of Rep or whatever, Senate, was talking about a lot of things. They shut her down. She said, 1 minute, I need 1 minute more to talk. That woman spoke. She spoke against what government is doing. She spoke against policies. She spoke against taxations and all of that. And she said, we are driving the people that are in private sectors. We are driving the people that are in economy, that are coming to invest in Kenya. Let us go back and remove that. Now, you want to do a contract with government, Solo, you must do your tax clearance. And maybe the tax clearance is 1 million. There's something I'm involved in right now. They are asking us to do a tax clearance of about 550,000. When, as a matter of fact, what is coming through that body is over $2 billion US. So a good thinking government, won't you waive that tax clearance just so that there are countries. One of the foreigner told us, he said, why are we struggling about this? In my country, they will waive this for you just so that they can have that big money come in. But not in Nigeria. So just look at manipulation. I think even if we take this topic to next week, we'll not exhaust it. But just look at manipulation in that area. Last week we talked about it extensively. We talked about how wives manipulate their husbands, how husbands manipulate their wives, how staff manipulate, how Oga will manipulate driver will manipulate Oga. Go and buy fuel of 50,000, he will buy 45,000, and even tell you, so I will not buy fuel there again. They don't have good tank or good pumps.
Manipulation. You know, when we talk about manipulation in its entirety, it's really detrimental. Like, look at how Prudence painted it. At workplace, you end up finding mediocres like taking charge. And imagine mediocres taking charge because they got to the top through manipulation. You, at the end of the day, nothing works. You just find the place being stagnated. You find policies being like people going against policies because they have their ways, or they think they have manipulated their ways through. So if I decide not to come to work, or if I decide to come late, or if I decide not to take up my responsibility, nothing will happen to me because I have manipulated my way through. So while this act is really detrimental to the victim, because we talk about the manipulator influencing the behaviors or trying to control others for his or her own benefit, like it's so self-centered at the detriment of the other person. You do it by lying or deceiving the person. So I would like you to speak on the impact of manipulation on the victim and how the victim can identify and stay clear of manipulators, because it looks like people are so gullible. We established last week that manipulation, you find it almost everywhere, every sphere of life. But you see some people, I don't know how gullible like people can be. I've been manipulated before, and I know how terrible I felt. Like, I got to this one chance like cab, and then this lady just said I banged her hand while I was feeling her pain and struggling to make sure that the door is open so that she can remove her hand. Unknown to me, that was the psychological tactics they used to manipulate you. So while you are struggling to take their hands off, they divert your attention and then put their hands in your bag and pick whatever they want to. And they picked my phone that very day. And when I came, I was just thinking like, so like these people use my head. Like I was just thinking about that. So
why did they waste time stealing a cheap phone?
So speak to us on the impacts on the victims and how that we can decode manipulators. And like you said, at the end of the day, they might think they are outsmarting you, but in the end, they'll find out that no, they actually did
Of
that
course,
to
they are not
themselves.
smart. Stealing that cheap phone. No, bro, they are not smart.
Well,
Joyce, I still love you. So, look, continue with your point.
How can I believe this? this is how?
Manipulation.
I tried to say he's trying to.
Would you
manipulate
answer the
your-
question, or should she be questioned?
Solo didn't say anything to you. He didn't do you nothing.
That you have a big phone.
I don't understand. Are you going to answer the
Expensive.
question, or maybe I should move it to Prudence?
Okay. Sorry.
I wish you the same.
Answer the question.
Well, for me, to
Can you still remember the question? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
yes,
The impact
the
of manipulation
impact
on the
person,
victim, yes,
the victim.
and how they can identify manipulators or their tactics.
if you are once manipulated, I think the only thing that can heal you is time. To be honest, it's time, because you see most people that are being manipulated, they come with a clean heart, and it's dangerous for whoever is a manipulator.
So they are
And
not foolish.
They are not. Most people that are not.
Nobody calls
They
them
are,
foolish. You just say they are
they are,
idiots.
they are not. They are not foolish. They are not idiot. Because you see, in this life,
They are not just smart.
in this life. They are smart in their own way by being patient.
Solo, have you ever been robbed? Okay, I remember. They collected your phone.
Yes.
At
and all that.
gunpoint.
They connected my Ecolag. I think.
At that point, there's no level of smartness that can help you.
I mean,
Nothing is smarter than a gun. I mean,
I was just hearing something like behave, behave.
it's the spirit of God that was talking
Behave.
to you.
Because any act of smartness, yeah, it can be a
I'm
big
telling you.
foolishness
Honestly.
on your own side. So I just say, okay, just take everything. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You see, so okay, on the point, it is only time that can heal. But you see, sometimes when people are being manipulated, the other side is thinking the other person is a fool. Yes, that's always
So the manipulator
the
now.
yes, the manipulator.
It's thinking
Is
the
it
manipulative.
manipulative.
Manipulator, manipulated.
You know, he's always thinking like that. But you see, it is dangerous in the other side. That's why I said when God want to prove the smart one, he uses the foolish thing to make you look stupid at a particular point. Because that person that you think is foolish, you are being manipulated. Maybe he's just giving all his all, simply because he's acting based on the word of God.
Oh, he's giving you a benefit of doubt.
Or he's giving you the benefit of that. The benefit of that can come based on your training. That you have to be patient, you have to be obedient, you have to obey certain things to a certain level. That's why if you find people that are deeply rooted in following the principle of God, automatically they are being tagged fools. Yes, they are being tagged fools. But you see, it's better a man sees you as fool and God knows you know what you are doing.
You too, you should know what you are doing so that that name will not be true.
Yeah. So you see, you can see patience in waiting, expectation, but at the end of the day, it dashes out. To some extent, sometimes you find out the person that is giving in in ignorance. In ignorance, in the sense that sometimes
The psyche have been.
yeah okay, this is the point that I'm trying to make. You know, he say, woe unto him that depend on man. Sometimes we take God and we depend on man, so it's easier for us to be manipulated and to feel bad in the manipulation. But if you are giving all your all, you are being truthful. For me, I will not say you are not being manipulated. For me, because I know the end result God would speak for you. That's me. That's my belief. God will always speak for you. And then you talk about how somebody will understand if he's being manipulated. You cannot just easily see somebody and just assume he's a manipulator. It's only time that can tell. Because sooner or later, the words of the person will not be matching his action.
True.
And then sooner or later, you'll be seeing that you are just stagnant. You are not moving. The person is somewhere. And then nothing is happening. That time, God have allowed you to pass through mentorship in life.
You've been groomed.
You've been groomed with efficient knowledge for you to act wisdom. So at that point that you realize, it will now tell you that it's time for you to move. And still at that point, you will see a manipulator will tell you that your loyalty is being questionable. Because he's thinking of taking you 10 years before he will do what he wants to do to you. And then you are quitting at the 9th year. And you ask yourself, from year 1 to 8, what happened?
Let me just. You know the thing about...
You understand? So it's for you to know the word of God, follow the word of God, be obedient to the word of God, wherever you find yourself, because for the fact that the devil started that, anybody that is acting based on instruction of the enemy is a manipulator, because the devil is the father of manipulators, because he started with Eve. He manipulated her. So it continues. It's from there. So it's just an act. The only thing is just to pray that you get healed and God speaks for you. And you see the result of your patience while you are waiting, you are hoping, you are being truthful to your loyalty.
I mean, manipulation in its entirety is hurtful, especially for the manipulated. Imagine just waking up and realizing that, oh, the past 6, 7, 8 years of my life, I've been holding on to lies or deception. I mean, you're looking back at the wasted years and it can be so hurtful. Yeah. But the answer is this: the scripture says that study to show yourself approved. Wisdom is profitable to direct. And not until we get that wisdom, like you will continue to rigmarole in the circle of manipulators.
The scripture also said, seek
like,
wisdom and seek knowledge.
Do you understand? So I think it's important that we seek knowledge. Because if you seek knowledge, it's going to save you a whole lot. By the time somebody is trying to deceive you, to tell you to believe this at the detriment of this, like you begin to want to, like, logically, scripturally, is this thing right? You want to put the person's actions and his words together. Is it flowing? Do you understand? So all of these things are very important. But I think for me, the basic point is that study to show yourself approved. The Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. Manipulators are all over. So, and I think because our time is fast spent, we'll just draw the curtains right here. Thank you, Engineer Tony J. Nakali.
Thank you, my sweetest manipulator.
Prudence, thank you. Samuel Sloman, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Always a pleasure.
Our viewers out
My
there
sweetest joy is Jakada.
really appreciate you.
My sweetest joy is Jakada.
I refuse to be manipulated. Thank you for doing this with us. And Echo Executive, we appreciate you for this platform.
This is manipulation.
My dearest GM.
This is manipulation.
My dearest GM. My number one boss.
This is
Stop
manipulation. This is manipulation.
You know I love you
End
always.
the show, we are
And
still
I'm
on
proud to be
air.
associated
End
with
the
you.
show, we are
We'll
still on
see you
air.
tomorrow, same time. Stay blessed.